Hello, sports card Wild West marketplace friends, collectors, investors, hobby venturists. It's Ziggy No. It is Saturday night. It is 9/3/21, September 3rd, 2021. This time next week, we'll have football season will be underway. We have some college football that's already taking place. We've had some trade news tonight, too. I'm going to spend a few minutes just for everybody to join in the show. I'll wait, let everybody join in. We're going to try to keep this. We're trying to focus this down to 30-minute segments. Now, that's my goal. We'll see where we get with that. We're going to start with some news, around the news, hobby news for about, I'd say, 5 to 10 minutes. Then I'm going to introduce you guys to my guest tonight. I'm going to talk to my guest, let him introduce himself, talk a little about his involvement in the hobby, and then open it up for Q&A at the end. So that's kind of the format for the show every evening. Start off with some news, we do a little guest time, and then we open it up for Q&A. So guys, thanks for being here. Really appreciate the support. Again, this is Friday night. It's actually the 5th show of this format. First week will be in the books. I will be back on Sunday night, kicking off the new week. We're going to use Sunday night for a special guest and instead of doing the open mic night. Pittsburgh, great to see you, buddy. Great to see you. Thanks for being here. Really do appreciate it, man. Okay, so let me go ahead and jump into the news. I got some really, really interesting news. I dropped a video earlier today on the verified market research report that was out. And I did a quick video on this, right? And I did get the report. I'm reading through the report. I'm going to share a little bit more with you. I've not had time to dig into this, but the reason I think it's important to mention this is that it's being thrown around a lot, right? People are talking about, oh, did you hear the sports card trading market's going to be $98 billion, blah, 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 blah. I mean, that's a big number. That's going to get people's attention. People are going to gravitate to that. And I think we should understand where and why and how that came from. I want to point out real quickly, pay attention here. This is the verifiedmarketresearch.com. You can do sports card trading, and this will come up. And you see right here, this is the very popular report for them, I'm pretty sure. $13 billion market as of 2019, 98 million expected in 8 years. Okay, now pay attention to that because I'm going to show you in a moment that, well, let me just show you. So I got copies of the reports, right? I sent an email and they sent me samples of the reports. And I appreciate anything because I know they put a lot of work into this, right? So here's a sample of one of the reports. And what I found interesting is it's basically, I don't know if you guys ever read, remember X-Files where you had to read the redacted information? That's what this basically is. Look, they blurred out the market definition here. They have some general information here. You come down here, they talk a little bit here. I think this is interesting. On every one of these assumptions, positive economic climate is assumed to continue through 2027. It's like that statement is everywhere, right? We all assume that. That's an easy out. It's like, well, if I was wrong, it's because the positive economic environment didn't stay. That's why the market didn't end up being 98 billion. I think there's a lot of flaws in this plan, just from what I've seen. I want to scroll down here. So when you get down to this information, market overview, again, obfuscated. I can't see drivers. I can't see restraints, opportunities, trends. All that's kind of hidden, which I think is interesting. Coming in here, again, you don't get numbers, right? You get very vague information. And I want to show you, here's that graph that here we go. See this graph? Doesn't it look familiar? So in the sample report, they give you this and they show you this, but you don't get a copy of it unless you won't remember to check back here, right? And there it is, right? So that's the same graph. They just cleared that out. So again, I'm going to continue reading through this and pull some more data out. Here's another report they have in here, which talks about how they came to this report, how they do bottom-up approach versus top-down approach on revenue and numbers. They also talk about who they interviewed and who they used to gather and put this report together. A lot of yellow flags to me in this report, a lot of yellow flags. And I don't want to be too biased because I am biased. So I'm wait for some other people maybe to read this. I sent a copy of this out to a few friends. I love for them to digest it. But to me, this just looks kind of gimmicky. I wouldn't give this a lot of weight, in my opinion, on this $98 billion market. I don't know where they come up with the $19 billion. Okay, so let me skip over that. I don't want to beat that horse to death. I'm going to make a deeper video on that later on. I also want to keep to my timeline here. I do want to mention this. Second round of Emmett Smith's auction includes a finals Cowboy game touchdown footballs. So I didn't read the whole article, but I'm a big fan of Emmett Smith, even though I don't like the Cowboys. I like Emmett Smith. He's very involved in memorabilia. He's been involved in some of the programs around to protect the memorabilia. He understands the history of the game and the items. So these are some damn pretty cool pieces of memorabilia that he put in his auction here. He's very active. I think he has a company that does grading or authenticating or something like that. Like he's very active in the hobby. Just a historian, in my opinion, of the hobby. Not sports cards as much, memorabilia, but really great article here on Sports Collectors Daily. Let's see if there's anything else that popped up. A lot of people are talking about the new release of Black Football. I could care less. We talked about the Magic Motion before. Heritage has another auction that's really great. We talked about the PSA numbers the other day. This was the auction we just talked about. I think we pretty much covered all the main stuff here. We'll check this out on Monday night or Sunday night, right? So other news, real quickly, snapshot. A few things I want to point out, not just the numbers here, but look at some of these things. Look how Zion is at 19,000 PSA 10s. He's clearly like he's almost 1,500 in front of Luka now, right? And then at the same time, look down here at LaMelo at 159. Now, I remember following that when he's around 80. So he's doubled his pop count, but slowly, because each one of those costs a lot of money to get that base card graded. So it's a gamble every time you put some of those in there. But no major ups and downs or shakers or movers. I did mention, I think it was Debunku, somebody got traded from the Pistons. The Pistons basically unloaded their entire team and traded in the Nets, which probably made them bounce up a lot of in price. I think we talked about these reports. Some Twitter news. So again, I will say Topps has got some sexy NFTs coming out. I don't like their death clause, which I made a comment in one of their tweets and see if they're going to respond to it. But they do have these pretty sexy NFTs coming out, which I'm going to probably, I don't know, watch. We'll see. I'll probably end up buying a pack. Let's not lie. I'm a little bit of an addict, but I won't get too deep in this without some change in their terms and services. That kind of concerns me. I know you're thinking, Ziggy, they're not going to change their terms and services. Well, maybe they will, right? Because if you look over here at Panini has actually listened to their community. So this is an article here about they have a challenge right now, a silver challenge for an Ohtani, and people complained about it. And the Panini NFT blockchain fans on Discord, right, got together and said, hey, dude, can you not give us another pitching Ohtani? Can you give us a batting Ohtani? And that's what they're doing. Now, again, if I read this correctly, if you complete this challenge, you actually get two Ohtani. You get the pitching one and you're going to get the batting one, which I think, if that's correct, that's the way I read this. You got to check this out. You get two NFTs, which we minted. Let me just show you this. Check this out right here. I was looking at them. Oh, is that where I want to go? No, I want to go over here first. If you go over here to blockchain and you go to challenges, damn it. You know, when you want to show something, it takes forever to get to it. And I'm running out of time. I have my own little clock in my head going, come on, Ziggy. Tick, 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 tick. What are we at? 7 minutes? Okay. Here we are. Challenges. Right here. See, there's the batting Ohtani. Isn't that pretty cool? That's pretty cool, in my opinion. The batting Ohtani. Now, too bad this is not fully licensed. And then here, the Ohtani, these are $199. See if you get these 10. I have none of them right now. I will say I was looking at them earlier. They're roughly about $30 a piece. So it looks like for $300 as of right now when I'm talking to you, it looks like you could get this challenge completed and then get two Ohtanis minted to $199 or less. Now, me talking about it, I don't think people are paying attention to me, but I don't think that price will stay long. And you only have 2 days left to do that. So I don't know if I'm going to chase it. It's also baseball. It's not my favorite thing, unlicensed baseball. Okay, so other news real quickly. Check this out. And again, I know this is more Panini news, but someone noted a soccer button in Panini's NFTs, right? And if you go over here to Panini, and this is kind of what I like about blockchain. There's little clues when blockchain companies are do stuff, when Top Shot's going to do something or Topps is going to do something or whoever it is, you'll see this stuff pop up in the blockchain. So if you go to blockchain Panini, you'll see Prism blockchain for soccer for 2021. And there apparently looks like maybe they're going to do a mosaic soccer NFT. I think that's pretty damn cool in my opinion. Okay, last few things to touch on real quickly. A lot of good content out. Some really good live stuff even going on now. Football Press is doing a draft. I always love listening to Cody. This is Friday night chill. I don't really watch the breaks. I listen to Cousin Carlos every now and then. I didn't catch that earlier, so I have to catch up on that later. I know I'm conflicting with that one, and I do like his show. I thought this was interesting right here. Look at this. Collectible Live with Jeremy Lee. I believe the first of a series hosted by Jeremy Lee. I believe Jeremy Lee is going to be working for Collectible. Is that right? Is that? Yeah, looks like it, right? And can be doing a show. So that's kind of cool. I'll put a little reminder on there. Wonder if I'm already blocked on that channel. David Adams cards on tomorrow night. That should be really good to listen to. Other video I listen to or channel I want to listen to. I don't recall off the top of my head. So we're at 10 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and stop there. I'm going to kill this and go back to my thing. Say hello to everybody. And I'm going to go ahead and welcome on from Las Vegas. I'm going to bring on Elliot. Elliot, how are you doing, sir?
Hey, what's up, Ziggy? It's good to talk to you.
Thank you very much for joining, man. I really appreciate it being here tonight as one of my guests. Tell me a little about yourself. So clearly you're in Las Vegas, I assume.
Right? I've been living in Las Vegas since 2014. I'm originally from Texas. I grew up in Dallas suburbs. So,
Redskin fan?
Yeah, no. I was, the glory days of my football fandom were when I was like in middle school.
Yeah, I remember those days. They were
Jimmy
beasts,
and
man.
Barry, Troy, Emmett, Michael Irvin, those guys.
That's what I'm saying. I love Emmett. I respect him. I never was a fan, but you got to respect Emmett, man. And there'll be no one like him ever.
Yeah, ever since the the mid '90s, as you know, it's been nothing but sadness for us. So, but yeah, I was typical Dallas kid growing up, fan of the Texas Rangers, Dallas Cowboys, and then eventually in the mid '90s we got the Dallas Stars. I think it was like 1994. So those were my three big teams. I've since kind of moved on. Still a fan of the Cowboys, of course.
Yeah. Are you a Raiders fan at all? Because they have the Raiders there now.
No, see, I got a hot take on that, but I'll just kind of keep my mouth shut because I want to piss a lot of people off.
Okay.
No, I was just not a fan of them coming to Vegas, but what am I going to do?
Why not? Was it because it's the Raiders or because it's football? I mean, because it's funny how they kept football away from there for so long. It's like taboo, right?
Yeah, no, it's, if anything, I mean, I feel like they don't have a connection here. That's just my personal opinion. So I know they need a home but yeah, no, I never was a Raider hater because, they're AFC. So, the Cowboys never played them, hardly ever, once every 4 or 5 years or something. But it just, so this kind of will segue into the hockey bit of it. We never had a team here until the Golden Knights came around as expansion. So that is authentically a Las Vegas team. And to me, just transplanting another franchise is kind of weird.
Not the same.
Yeah, I mean, I guarantee you, I know plenty of Raiders fans that are ecstatic to have them here. I'm just kind of meh about it. But we do have a pretty awesome stadium, I will say that. So,
well, it's cool because I remember that they didn't allow pro teams in Vegas because they were fearful of game fixing.
Right.
I mean, that was the reason. Which when you think about that, that's hilarious. It's kind of like comical. Like you can't do that from some other place. But I think it was the old gangster, mob mentality. With the internet and everything, they could fix games any way they want to. But that's what
it was just a matter of time before they let it. Before because now we're, as you know, there's the A's might be coming.
I mean, what's I'm saying? I know what you mean by the sports town. It's transient, right? There's not a lot of people who stayed there forever. They were from other areas and they bring their teams with them.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's also a fun place where like I could cheer for the Raiders and just as a fan of Vegas. I don't know. Like I will say I've cheered for the Vegas Knights, except they were playing the Capitals, who are my close team. So I had to cheer for the Capitals. But I would have been happy either way. Like if the Vegas Knights won that would have been awesome. As what, a second year expansion, or were they first year when they did that?
No, that the first year is when we played the Caps in the Caps.
So that would have been awesome. And then seeing the Caps win and seeing Ovechkin win his probably only cup. Was nice to see.
Well, yeah, Ovi, he's a special player. But yeah, I will say a lot of people have the same feeling around here. Tom Wilson holds a special place in our heart, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
It was nice to see Ryan Reeves just smash the crap out of him a couple years ago as retribution. But it was a good first run, so that's I would say in terms of domestic sports. I would say Vegas Golden Knights tops the list, followed by the Cowboys. I mean, I do dabble into basketball, but that's over the last year. Just my storyline, so to speak, of rejoining the hobby. So
is there a big hobby community there in Vegas? Like I know there's some card stores there, right? I've seen a guy who has a card store. I think he's on bench there.
The one, I mean, you might be talking about Legacy sports cards. That's my local hobby shop that I go to. So when I got back into the hobby, it was right in the middle of the pandemic. It was in June last summer.
Fair.
Like many people. Yeah, exactly. At that time they only allowed like a handful of people in the store at a time. So it wasn't. I never really got back into. I haven't really found like a hobby community here, so to speak. But I think it's mostly because of a couple of factors. One, because I work from home now, and that's a permanent thing. And I don't go out as much as I used to. And but I think that's because our lifestyles. We're kind of in this weird time where we're trying to adjust to.
I'm just wondering, are there like flashy shows? Like LA area has a lot of people, and it's Burbank, and it seems like a lot of people in the card business. I know there's a sports card show coming to Vegas next week, right? With the Industry Day.
Yeah, I believe so. Next weekend, it's I think it's near the Westin Hotel, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, the Industry Summit you're talking about, right?
Yeah, and that's sold out, by the way.
Is it really?
Yeah, and that's not normal. Like, just so you know, like 2 years ago, it was really something like, the breakers would get major breakers, major allocated industry people would go to. Last year, when everything was shut down, they opened up to virtual, so they had virtual, and a lot more people attended. Yeah. And this year, it sold out. Like I spoke to the guy who's organized. He said, "Yeah, we sold out. We can't facilitate all the people." So I would, if you're in the area, I would check that out. There'll be a card show going there. There might be some.
Yeah, I heard there's gonna be like 100 tables or 150 tables.
Yeah.
I mean, I live like 10, 15 minutes away from there. So there was a show a few weeks ago, but I did. I was on vacation. I was going to Texas a lot to see family. So, but yeah, so growing up, it's kind of a cool story, and I hope that at some point, I don't know if it's live or if there's anybody in the chat now or someone that will watch later, that has been around the hobby for a long time. My grandparents, when I was growing up in Dallas, they had a tailor store that was right next to what I found out to be a pretty reputable hobby shop called Dick's Dugout. And so when I was like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, my dad would take us to the store to go see my grandparents. And usually my grandpa would, give my brother and I like $5, and we could just run to the store and pick up a couple wax packs. I mean, I'm talking like 87, 88, 89 tops is really what it was. And so, I just remember opening up, like baseball packs, and, I was a kid, so I was really looking for, my favorite players. So, at the time I was kind of chasing like Nolan Ryan inserts and like the 5,000 strike card, things like that. And then getting ripped off in trades with other neighborhood kids that really knew baseball way better than I did, because they're like, "Oh, hey, I got a Ruben Sierra card. I'll trade you that for your, I don't know, Wade Boggs." And I was like, "Yeah, sure."
It's sad you say that. It seems like that's kind of a common thing.
Oh yeah, I was getting ripped off left and right as a kid.
And it's simple. It's simple as this. Let me trade you this really cool, I can say an all-star name, like, I don't know, a Nolan Ryan for that awful Jose Canseco rated rookie. Who the hell is he?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like that was what you're right. Because I remember that happening to me as a kid, that somebody was trading me all-star players for rookie players. And I didn't know that was bad until somebody told me that was bad.
Yeah,
so
and
when you mentioned that, it made me think to myself, man, that happened to me too.
Yeah, and one thing I will say, by the way, is with some of these recent card designs from last year.
Yes.
From a marketing standpoint, I think they did I know that the rated rookie has been around for forever, right? But I'm specifically thinking of like one card that stood out to me. I was like, oh, wow, that's blast from the past. I think it's like 2019 Panini Instant. And I think the whole rookie class, there's Zion in particular I'm thinking of that has an orange back, and it's got the, I think dark blue or black borders on each side. And I think it's a throwback from, I want to say like 89 or 90 Donruss.
Okay.
But yeah, so like those types of cards, those kind of shouted out to me as
I would say I wasn't it this year. This year is clearly Donruss. did a Luka rated rookie.
Oh, is that true? I haven't. You know what, Ziggy? I've stayed far away from this year's stuff.
Dude, I don't blame you. You should. And this disgusts me. I didn't buy it. I haven't bought much stuff this year, but I'm not kidding. Donruss clearly this year with the LaMelo Ball, they have a rated rookie.
Let's take a look at that.
Luka. If you do rated rookie Luka Donruss clearly, it's going to pop up and it's going to show you rated rookie Luka. But unless you flip over the card and you look on the back and say, well, this card's made in 21, his rookie year is 18. This can't be his rookie. That should be. I don't know. I can't believe. I don't understand how that was made. I don't understand how that was made.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
You know what I'm saying? That's criminal.
Yeah, the rookie logo should be for rookie cards only, obviously.
Absolutely. Well, not like that. I mean, if you're going to do a retro rookie thing, then put retro on it. And you got to at least wait. Let's get maybe 10 years. I mean, this is a 4 years later they did this. That's awful. It is.
It terrible. Is. And I want to say I'm having a wonderful time in the hobby. Again, I enjoy it a lot. I would not say that I'm like a flipper. I'm definitely a hybrid. I'm more on the collecting side, I think.
Me too. Yep.
I say I think because a year ago I had these ideas of what I was going to try to accomplish. And then I start getting attached to things. So before I know it, like I have a pile of, just cards that I like.
Yeah.
Which, that's kind of one piece of advice I always stuck to was, just deal with what you like.
Yeah.
So predominantly, I started back in June last year. I started ripping hobby boxes of hockey predominantly because that's really what I was always
into. Yep.
As a fan most of the time. Do I watch the occasional football, baseball, basketball game? Yeah, sure. But I mean, 99% of the time, I'm like always glued to news and the TV for hockey. So that's what I was doing.
Can I ask, when you came back, what was it that you were ripping in hockey? Like, did you go deep into like the cup, or were you ripping SP?
No. So interesting. Like, so the catalyst to all this last June, it was really an escape for me. There was the normal like pandemic stuff going on. But then I lost my dad last summer.
I'm sorry, man. That sucks.
Oh yeah, no, it's okay. I mean, it's part of life.
Yep.
I needed it like an escape. And then there's all the political nonsense.
Yeah.
And so I just needed an escape to something that was, exciting.
That's so true.
And just
so true.
Like, free of bullshit.
It's funny you say that. I wonder how many people got away from politics and went to sports cards last year. Maybe that was a catalyst for the boom.
I hope. Right? I think that. So I mean, I would consider myself like a very average, like run of the mill type of guy that's in the hobby, And but yeah, to answer your question, I started getting into 1920 Series 1 because I really liked some of the rookies that came out of that product. And then 2019-20 SP Authentic. Because they have they're called the Future Watch. That's the rookies that come out of SPA.
Yeah.
And they're hard sign on card autos. So I was able to, I pulled one of the best, one of the guys that's on the box, and Quinn Hughes. I
nice.
Out of there, got that baby graded Express, and some guy wanted to pay a price that I was willing to let it go for.
So you sold it, make some money off it. Now, is that the year?
That's because I bought so much of the stuff that I was like, well,
you need to recoup some cost.
Of course, yeah. So it was really 3 products in particular in June of last year. It was 1920 Series 1, SP Authentic, and then Stature came out. And I have to say, the insert, like the advertisement inserts that were in the 1920 SPA boxes, it's like advertised like the upcoming product, was the Stature, which was like a first time product. And I haven't looked to see if they're bringing it back, but I went down like $100 for a couple of those boxes.
Was Series 1 the one with Alexi, the dude from the Rangers?
No. 1920 Series 1 is black and yellow, and Sidney Crosby's on the box.
Okay.
Series 2 is blue and white, and I think it's got Austin Matthews on the front.
Which one has the chase of the Alexi kid from the Rangers, who's supposed to be really good?
Lafreniere, that was 2021 Series 1.
Is he any good or no?
He had very high expectations. I still think that I just
early.
The expectations were so high that I think the first 10 or 15 games last season he didn't score a goal. So, but yeah, I mean that. One thing I will say, by the way, about this last year, and I've watched all of your stuff, so I know what you're talking about when you say like, oh, Panini's overprinting and this and that. So Upper Deck used the pandemic, and I'm not going to say as an excuse, but they'll just, a reason / excuse to come out with. They normally came out with 2 standard flagship series, series 1 and series 2 every year. This year they did 1 and 2 and an extended series.
I saw that.
Yeah, and the lineup in the extended series, and I haven't bought a single box of any of those 3 films. And I see them on the shelf everywhere, on Target everywhere. And there's 3 cards in specific that people are chasing from all 3 sets put together, I think. But yeah, I mean, I just think they're kind of starting to do the same thing with printing things into the ground. Is just my personal take, but
I don't disagree. I would say I just have more respect for Upper Deck. They seem to have better rules. Like, here's another thing I like about Upper Deck. They're very strict on their pricing. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't, and I don't understand the rules, but if you sell their product, you can't post the price online.
Oh yeah, well that's with like yeah, I know what you're talking about with like.
Do you follow Titan Breaks at all? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't follow, no, but I'm familiar.
Yeah. You heard how they lost their license or whatever because of Upper Deck enforced.
Wait, is that the channel that has the girl that posts?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I saw that one. She like gave this like heart.
Yeah.
Like she was crying, like a review thing.
Well, because I mean, I'll be honest. So here's my take on that channel. She came there about a year and a half ago. Probably didn't know much about sports cards at all, but she was nice. She was cute. She was friendly. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. She is cute and she's very friendly with the guys, and people were tipping her, right? So there were a lot of tips. And I think she was doing a great job. And again, I always used to watch her breaks, and they were kind of painful in the beginning because you could tell she didn't know what she was doing, but she picked it up and she was scared. So apparently Upper Deck came in and took away their right to do that. And the way I look at it is her channel went from like a couple hundred people to like 25,000 subscribers. Somebody ratted them out to Upper Deck. And then Upper Deck came in and took away their party. And I think that sucks.
Yeah, that does suck.
I don't know the details, but I think that sucks.
I will say, from consuming content on YouTube of just breaks, the only breaks that I ever used to get into, by the way, were only hockey. And then I haven't been in a break in like over a year now. But I will say that there's a huge difference, and I'm sure you can agree with this. When the breaker himself or herself is, you can tell if they're like completely disengaged from whatever product they're breaking, and it's just about like, oh, there's just, oh, come on, let's sell. It's, I'm not going to say specific names, but there's channels out there that that they're just could give a shit less.
Yeah, they're just there to make the money. It's sad. Yeah. I even think of it like this too. I understand that there are a lot of new products coming out or whatever, but if you can't take 15 freaking minutes before your break to look at the checklist on Cardboard Connection and just know what the inserts are, just know something. Look at that page for 15 minutes. Yeah. I just think that's lazy. It's like going into a meeting and not being prepared for who you're going to meet with, right?
Yeah.
That does drive me crazy. So I do like a breaker. If you're going to break the product, I don't care if it's a brand new product and you just got it, be somewhat knowledgeable of it. Right. And don't call out cards that you think are great cards that aren't. That just drives me crazy. My favorite breakers are the most honest ones, right? Who just tell you that what they know, they'll tell you stories about it. Yeah, they care. I don't know, but
I mean, if I was gonna take people's money, I would want to at least try to put on a show. A pass.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember back in the day, there was one breaker I used to watch, and I like the fact that he would take the time to look up the card with you. Right, like his breaks, they would take a long time, but it was more of a friendly thing. So, we got a good card. Let's look at what this card sells for on eBay. And he pulled up, and we'd look on eBay, and we'd all cheer. Hey, man, that's great. But it was friendly. I don't know. He spent the time in it. A lot of the breakers just like rip it and flip it,
Yeah, big time. And the other thing too is now this is across the board with all sports, but just to put it in perspective, in June of last summer, I was buying those hobby boxes. I mean, I should have probably bought a case because, I just spent more money buying them 1 or 2 boxes at a time for like $60.
Yeah.
I was on the regular, and then I don't think, I mean, of course, as more supply dwindles down, the price will go up, but I mean, now Series 1 or Series 2 this last year was like, $180 or something like that. You can't find you can't find like the 1920 Series 1 for under, I think maybe $120 now.
So, again, I feel for you, and I do. And I think about my friends who like baseball, because baseball's at the same rise, right? Like Series 1 used to be under $100, and now it's like $200. But again, look at Panini. Panini makes me sick. Okay, if you take their equivalent, take Prism basketball. Honestly, I know people aren't going to believe me, but it is an equivalent product in what it's manufacturing. It was manufactured to be $120 box, right? $150 box for retail. And they sell it for $1,000 or more. That makes me sick.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Donruss football. Look what they're going to do with Donruss football. I haven't seen the prices on that yet, but what do you think Donruss football hobby boxes are going to go for this year? I'm going to guess 500 to 1,000.
What were they going for last year?
And we're talking Donruss football. They weren't 500. So I was looking at videos where the Fanatics blasters were, I think, $99. Which was a lot when they first came out. And that was with Tua and Burrow. I mean, this year's class is going to be bigger, so it's going to be football.
I mean,
Are you a football fan?
I am a football fan, but I
cards.
I don't have a single football card.
Smart man. It's the worst investment in the card. I mean, it really is.
Aside from hockey, the only other things that I dabbled into was Panini Mosaic basketball. And I got into that in like September, October.
Yep. It was hot last year.
Just because, I stuck with what I knew with hockey. And then I saw, and now here's the thing. I think, so the hockey market is completely different. It has a very loyal, heavy collector base. It's, are there flippers in there? Sure. But not to the extent of like basketball, for example.
Yep. I agree.
Everybody was like making money left and right in basketball. And I'm, kind of like, okay, well, let me just see what's going on with this. But I was not going to be, my entry point. Mosaic was pretty friendly entry point, all things considered. And it was a first year standalone.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, well, let me, get some hanger, cello packs, whatever they're called, and hanger boxes. I was getting them off of eBay from the flippers, right? And but the price point that I was at the time, I mean, I was buying hanger boxes for like $40 a piece, and I saw them go up as high as like $100, I think. Yeah. So I didn't go like crazy over it, but I was pulling the same stuff, looking for the same stuff everybody else was with the Zion.
Yes, it's Zion, Josh rookie year with the gold.
Yeah, and so I picked a few. Players as far as prospecting was concerned, and I got some parallels, and then I sent those in, but I didn't send like every last card in my shoebox, off to get graded. So I still haven't gotten those back, but that was just kind of a side effect, if you will.
You're dabbling.
Yeah.
So what's your main media for sports cards? Is it mainly IG? Are you doing any other social media or?
So I do have an Instagram handle, but I'm not as active on as far as posting things.
Yeah.
My YouTube channel, I've started it like 2 weeks ago or so.
Awesome.
Only because and this reminds me of like a video you talked about way back in like a year ago, where your strategy was you like sending things out on a monthly basis to PSA. So
yep.
Christmas every month come back to you. My first Christmas was like, 3 weeks ago I did an HGA submission just as a test. And then I've got, PSA subs that are going to be coming back. I got several things in the grading.
Nice.
So that's just really, I'm not trying to, be an expert offering advice and things like that. That's not my shtick. I do like consuming all those types of a variety of different channels. So this is just me putting out my feedback, my experience, sharing that with the community, because you know, I feel like I enjoy watching that kind of content. So hopefully someone else enjoys.
That's awesome. I think that's great, man. And I think that's important, because I think a lot of people do want to see that. They want to see how you're doing it. Like some of my favorites, I like Flipping Steve, right? Because Flipping Steve really just shows you how he's doing his thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's just his way. Here's his hustle. Here's the way he does his, you know, day-to-day business.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Flipping Steve. I will say that for me, I like the whole end-to-end process. Now, I'm not saying that like, oh, everything has to be graded, because otherwise, you know, we're gonna have a billion slabs on our hands, and I don't think that's what the hobby needs. But I do like from the like the hobby aspect of the hobby is I do like the end-to-end experience of pulling, you know, whatever card you're chasing after, if it's the hot rookie or something for your PC, or even just finding it raw on ComC or eBay, and you know, getting it shipped to you. I go over it. I set aside the ones that I think will grade well, and then a validation when it comes back. You know, that I enjoy all that whole aspect of it. So then you have to sell a few to kind of keep the.
It's a patient play too. You learn patience. In fact, I really liked StarStock when they were doing the PSA grading. They've now suspended it.
Yeah, I missed out on their first sub. Yeah.
Yeah. I got in their first sub, which is funny because the first sub really came back in a short period of time. So I got in the second sub, and there's been no peep on the second sub at all. The second sub went in February, and it's only September. So that's going to be probably back next February is my guess.
So how many months was the first sub took?
The first one, I want to say it went in December, and they had it back probably within 8 weeks. I mean, it was a 20-day. It was a 20-day. They promised it was going to be a 20-day, but they had to have had some. It makes me think to myself, there had to be some relationship where StarStock talked to PSA, and PSA said, yeah, we'll take your first order and get it done in 20 days. After that, we're just going to. And then even I want to say I submitted in March, and they were you know, they took my money, but I don't know if the cards actually were submitted. You know what I'm saying? Like in March, I think the prices went up, but StarStock accepted $30 for cards from me, and they took them off my thing. So hopefully those get taken.
Got it.
Question here: who's your favorite hockey player?
So my favorite current hockey player, I would say, is Nick Suzuki of the Canadiens. That goes back before he was with the Canadiens. He was originally drafted with Vegas. We partnered with him in a trade to get Max Pacioretty. But yeah, so current player Nick Suzuki. My favorite former player, that's close. It's a tough one between Mike Modano and Ed Belfour, because they were both on the Stars 99 team in Dallas when we beat the.
Do you follow Because I'm Carlos?
I've watched a few of his videos, but I actually haven't.
Definitely check him out, because I want to say he's a Dallas Stars fan too.
Is he really? I'll have to check that out.
I'm pretty sure he is. He's
so many channels.
Guy. He's a good. I really like his channel. In fact, he's on tonight, and I hate overlapping with him because he's got some good stuff. He goes for hours though. He starts on Friday night around 9, and he'll go to like 3 a.m. sometimes. But really good channel. You should check him out though. He's also a really good hockey guy.
Okay, yeah, we'll do. Yeah,
and then I also recommend checking out Hobby Hotline. Right, get over there on Saturdays tomorrow morning. Okay. Introduce yourself to the team over there. Jeremy Lee is a big hockey guy as well.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
Talk to.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, Ziggy, the YouTube content space is so competitive. There's so many options and channels and stuff. So
it's funny. I don't think of it as competitive at all. I really don't. I think maybe that's the difference. I really think of it as a community, because I love to talk about other people's channels and recommend them or tell you to check them out, because I listen to them all. It does irk me when I listen to other channels who'd never mention other channels. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. No, yeah.
I think myself, why can't you say that you heard this on somebody else? But some of them deliberately will say, like, well, I heard another channel. Like, what channel was it? Tell me what channel it was. Say it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean competitive as in, like, you only have so many gets to watch, I mean, otherwise, my girlfriend would be pissed at me if I'm
I understand. That's why again, the goal of this show was really to do something that could be done at night, where I could get more and more people online from East Coast, West Coast, whatever. Give you the news, like a 5-10 minute news brief that you could go do some research later on, get an interview, and then answer questions at the end. That's kind of my goal, because I agree. You're right. It is short. Like, I hate watching. I don't want to say hate. It's harder to watch long videos, right? So I try to make it easy, condensed. Let's see. A couple other questions here. Here are Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane both Hall of Famers already? They're what? They're a Chicago team, right?
That's Blackhawks. Very good, Ziggy.
I follow hockey a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, you know the names, right? So
I follow the playoffs. That's what it is. If they're in the playoffs, I pay attention.
Are they both Hall of Famers already? I would say that Toews has a little bit more to. I think he has a little bit more in the tank. But yeah, I would say eventually, yeah. Patrick Kane, I think so. I actually see this other one from Brian Basketballs about what was my first card.
Yeah.
Oh boy. The first
one you never sell.
The first card that I remember like clutching onto as a kid was the Nolan Ryan 5,000 strikeout.
Cool.
That's from like 90 tops.
Yeah.
As far as a card that I have that I'll never sell, I haven't talked about this yet, but besides hockey, so I'm big into soccer.
Cool.
Not so much in cards until lately, but I played soccer growing up, and it's just been a part of my life. So one card that I have that will never sell is this one here. It's a Lionel Messi.
Nice.
It's 6.
Nice.
Cup. So it's the first World Cup card. I actually have 2. One's in
very cool
GS9 and a PSA 8. So these are just cards that I probably won't ever relinquish.
I tell you, I actually am liking soccer more and more. And I've really gotten into, like, I wish I knew more about it. I still realize how ignorant I am. I got into it a lot with the NFTs now. I'm doing Bundesliga NFTs. Yeah. I like, so Rare has this game system. I also really enjoyed Bowman MLS last year. I've had a great time selling Bowman MLS cards, and the World Cup's coming up. So I will say, I think soccer's made more growth in the last few years in popularity in the US than it probably did in the previous 20. Like, even with ESPN, where ESPN highlights all the games now, it's gotten, I want to learn more about it. I'm really excited about soccer. Really am.
Yeah, it's definitely grown for sure. That could be a whole nother topic for another day.
Yeah.
About soccer, because I have a lot of hot opinions on that. But yeah, as far as the hobby, it's growing big time. And with the 22 World Cup coming up in Qatar, I only expect there to be more interest as we approach that point. So,
do you collect any soccer cards then, besides the one you're showing? Like, do you collect any modern soccer?
I do have. So, just for collecting, I actually I should dig them out sometime. But I have I'm collecting a set of Panini Select Argentina cards that are gold autos.
Nice.
So I've been able to scoop some up here and there.
Is Messi one of those?
Oh, hell no.
Okay.
Don't have that kind of money.
I see, because that'd be a big beast.
These are some of the players that would be obscure to like your average Joe, but since I follow the Argentinian national team, I'm very familiar with. So yeah, I mean, I scored picked up one of the gold prism out of 10 auto. It was a sticker auto, but I think they all are.
Yeah, I think all prisms are.
You need $5. It was the goalie, but anyway, that's to me. I was just like, it was like way too cheap.
Yeah.
Snag it up. But anyway, I been collecting a little bit on the soccer side, but not, I'm not anything for flipping and things like that for soccer.
Yeah, I like soccer a lot. I've actually got some sealed soccer that I don't know the names of the players, so I don't want to open it yet. To learn the teams better.
Yeah, the only thing that worries me as far as just the amount of product that's just pumping out. Now, I mean, if
I agree.
it buys it, but I get worried for, I'm in my late 30s, just so you know. I get worried and I see a lot of people on Instagram and Facebook or whatever, college guys, right, that are getting way in over their head on buying, thinking that everything's going to go to the moon, invest, and have 400 or 500 bulk sub, returns coming from PSA. And I'm just kind of like, how are you going to pay for this, man?
Yeah, well, again, you're right. A lot of it's show, it's flash. And not only that, people don't, again, it's hard to sell, right? You can show me a stack of, PSA 10, whatever rookie. Great. Now go turn that liquid for me. Let's see how fast it takes you to turn that liquid.
Well,
right?
And again, it depends on what you're sending too, Ziggy, right? Yep. That's the thing. Is that part of the backlog? And I watch Neo a lot too, and I would agree with his take on becoming less worried about the backlog at PSA just because of the sheer volume of shit that's coming back.
Yeah.
Labs that I'm like, I can't believe people graded some of these things. Now, if it's for PC, whatever, you do you. It's,
again, a lot of people say that. Like, I think sometimes the PC excuse is like they bought something to sell it and they failed on them. Oh, it's my PC.
Yeah, totally.
There was a stat, I think, that said there are more cards will be graded in the next year by PSA than were previously graded combined by PSA.
Yeah.
That is terrifying. So again, if you think of 2021, by the time they're done in that year, they'll probably grade like 7.7 million cards. And I know it's true, but there wasn't that many cards graded before. I mean, that's terrifying.
It'll be interesting to see, like, on the the complete through dates on PSA that everybody loves talking about. Once they get to that, once bulk ultra modern approaches like February, March, it'll be like, and the complete through day will maybe move a day.
Yeah, you're right.
So we'll see.
Well, I'm going to go ahead. I went over my 30 minutes again as normal. It's okay because I think this is still a really great evening. And I will say, Elliot, I'd love to have you back on again. I'd love to talk to you. So this is my first week doing this. I'm going to continue doing this every week we can, and I'd love to get more conversations, get deeper into different topics, have you back, talk more. Let's see if there's any quick questions here. I agree about garbage coming back from PSA. Kobe White was one of the top 10s. Yeah, he was, and now he's.
I still have Kobe White at PSA.
I do too. I mean, who doesn't? Rui's another one, right? I mean, I have Rui there. I have Kobe White. I have Cameron Johnson. Rookie was going to be hot because they were all selling for so much freaking money. I see too many people.
It'll be one of those things where when we're like in retirement homes in our 70s or 80s, and they'll be like, "You got that Kobe White PSA slab? I had one of those too."
Yeah, it's sad to say that. It's, and then here's what's really sad is that a year ago we're like, "Is this the junk wax era? I don't know. There's things that would warn us. We'll see signs." Well, dude, all the signs are here. Every sign is there. They're like pasted right in front of us. It's like saying we're printing too much. We're printing too much. And we're like, okay, maybe I don't see the signs yet,
Yeah, well, I mean, they're companies too. They don't want to miss the window.
Yeah, well, that's another thing with this whole. I was talking about that report, dude. This is the prime time of the hobby. Anybody who's been in this hobby for 50 years will tell you it has never been like it before. So to use the last 2 years at the peak of the hobby and calculate that out as that's the way it's going to grow for the next 8 years might be the stupidest thing I've ever seen. But I don't know. That's just my thinking. So
I think it'll continue to grow.
Yeah.
But those rates are not sustainable. I mean,
but also there's a lot of bleed in on what will grow too. When they talk hobby, like autographs and memorabilia are always going to grow. There's only be more and more because we like celebrity autographs, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't make a difference. Sports athletes are just a fraction of that. And then with cryptocurrency and NFTs, that's bleeding into it too. So anyway, I could talk on forever, and that'll be another 30 minutes. So I'm going to try to keep my time limited. I do appreciate your time, Elliot, man. Thank you very much for making this happen. Let's stay in touch, guys. If you haven't already, please get over to Elliot's channel. Give him a sub. Let's support the community. If you're out there and you haven't been on the channel, I'd love to have you on. I'm taking tomorrow off. I got my kids. We're going to go to a baseball game tomorrow. Nice. And then I'll be back Sunday night doing another live, I believe, with Popino Man. So I'm really excited. Looking forward to that, guys. Cool. Elliot, thank you again, man. Have a great night. Yeah. I'm going to kill this channel, so everything's going to pause, and then I think this goes black. Thanks again, guys.